Hello everyone, welcome back to Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations. And I can't believe the 60th is nearly here. We might already be here, depending when you are seeing this, watching this, I know that. But today I'm joined with Phoebe, Barry, and Peter, and we are all autistic and love Doctor Who. So it's gonna be really fun. So they've all been on before, at least once. Yeah. Everyone here's been on once. So
Yeah.
yeah. But just not you don't know each other as far as I was aware, so that's cool.
Well, we know each other in the group chat. We just don't know each other on video.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So I'll start with you, Phoebe, then. If you don't mind just introducing yourself.
Hi, I'm Phoebe. I'm 20 years old. I love Doctor Who. I've been a Doctor Who fan since 2019, since the whole Jodie Whittaker stuff. I've watched all of the classics probably over 100 times alongside with the modern series. I have a YouTube channel called Who's Phoebe and I talk about Doctor Who on there. So I'll get Mason to link the channel.
Yeah, definitely. Because yeah, it's great. It's very good. But thanks, Phoebe, for coming back. Because I know you were really keen about doing a group episode.
Yeah, I was too keen.
Yeah, too keen. Yeah. So Barry, hello. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Barry. I'm actually double Phoebe's age. I just turned 40 though this year, and I became a fan back in 1988 when the classic series was being shown on BBC One with Sylvester McCoy's second year and that. And I've been a fan for quite a long time in that. So yeah, I consider myself kind of like an old school fan, as some people would say.
Yeah, 1988. Yeah, a long time fan that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 5 years old, and it was actually the Daleks that were the first enemy in that, and it's a really, really good story, and I would recommend remembering it.
Yeah, the Daleks. Yeah, the Daleks are scary. But thank you, Barry, for coming on again. Yeah. And Peter, would you mind doing an introduction of yourself?
Yeah, okay. Hello, I'm Peter. I'm 25 years old, autistic, and Doctor Who fan since 2005, 2006 with David Tennant.
Yeah, David Tennant, and he's back.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. But thank you, Peter. It's great to have you on again. I know you was keen as well to come back as well.
Yeah.
So that's really fun. So it's Peter and Phoebe's second time on this particular series, and Barry, you was on an autism series early on in the year. So wobbly timey-wimey stuff there. So I guess, guys, the first thing I guess we can talk about is I don't know, as we got some people here who like classic Who, are you guys excited to have Doctor Who on BBC iPlayer, like all of it? Are you excited for that?
Well, I'll go first. Yes, I think it will be so much more accessible as well for people who can't afford like ITVX and BritBox. I mean, I know the first 4 episodes aren't going to be on there due to some stupid thing with the son of the guy who wrote that. Wrote on The Earthly Child. You can't come up with a deal, and I think that is solely disappointing because the first moment of Doctor Who was in the Unearthly Child, where you have the introduction of the TARDIS, Doctor, Susan, Barbara, and Ian. And I think that's going to be solely disappointing because that's where a lot of the iconic moments, and that's what made the show as it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me personally, I'm really glad that it's going to be on iPlayer. For me, I always watch classic Doctor Who or modern Doctor Who whenever I can on DVD, Blu-ray, or even 4K discs and that. But it's also good though for those who don't want to get physical discs all the time and want to watch it digitally online if they have a great internet connection. And I agree with Phoebe about the situation about the first 4 episodes of Unearthly Child. And yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of that story, but except for that first episode. But yeah, it is part of that history that starts to get it going, and then we get into that second story with the Daleks and that. But yeah, it'd be nice though to see that on there, and I'm interested to see what they're going to do with some of those missing stories, especially hopefully they'll put some of the animations that they've actually released on DVD and Blu-ray, and I'll be interested to see if they can put that on there, whether it's going to be in color or in black and white. That'll be interesting to see, because there's 2 different versions for some of those Troughton stories and one of those Hartnell stories as well. And I'm really looking forward to what's coming up with that. So,
I agree with Barry on that front. I'd be interested to see what they do with a lot of the missing episodes, whether they're going to be the DVD animations or whether they're going to be the coloured version that they have put out on BritBox recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the color episodes are also on DVD and Blu-ray as well, but you know, it depends about how it feels. I think it's going to get a bit of a mixed reaction online depending on it, because there are people that would love to see them in color, but they're also enthusiastic or like, you know what, I want to see them in black and white because they were filmed in black and white. They were done in black and white.
I agree with your point. I think having them colorization kind of ruins like the nostalgia of Doctor Who, because up until the 1970s, that's when black and white TV was still a thing. So I think keeping them black and white is part of that history of Doctor Who. I think trying to colorize them makes it less special.
Yeah, there have been a lot of rumors about that they were doing, well, before the court case thing with what's going on with the first 4 episodes, they were going to recolorize the very first 4 episodes in time for the 60th. But that's just a rumor, so we'll take that off. Like, that's what I've heard.
We have to take that with a pinch of salt, because Doctor Who, I don't take any news from any other Doctor Who sites until the BBC have officially announced.
Yes, I agree, Phoebe. I agree.
I'll wait for official announcement from the BBC themselves.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, I know we're still waiting for the air dates. I know some websites are saying that they're going to be from the start of November, from like the 2nd week in November, but I'm not going to believe that until I see a post from BBC Doctor Who Facebook or Instagram account saying the air dates of the episodes. That way then I can officially announce the news properly on my YouTube channel.
Yes, I totally agree with Phoebe and Peter on that front as well. I mean, I just thought I'd just flow that out there and just see how you would answer to it. And I'm glad that we're all on the same wavelength of wait until the BBC actually makes a confirmation.
Yeah, I don't like reading all these pages that say like it's going to be on the like you guys are saying these dates are going to be then, when we have no clue when they're going to be there. Like we imagine we might get some sort of announcement soon, but who knows? It's actually nice to have that kind of that waiting game, you know, have that waiting game.
I mean,
keep guessing.
If they're going to announce the dates, they're going to announce it roughly before November, so that we can get really excited about it. So my reckoning is they are going to announce it before this month is out.
Yes, it's probably going to be next week, isn't it?
Most likely, knowing Russell Davies, because I know his work from like watching like his work on Doctor Who. I feel like most likely from him, we're going to end up getting the air dates next week when he officially announces it on the BBC website and whatnot.
Yeah, he is a great marketeer, though, Russell T. Davies. That is the one thing I can truly say about the guy. He knows how to help marketing.
I mean, going on to your point about Russell Davies being a great marketer, you can see, like, even after he announced he was coming back and all of that, he's been, like, promoting the 60th here and there. And also the next series, too, with, like, outfit reveals from the 15th Doctor and Millie Gibson. And he's been doing that Who Spy stuff as well, and been putting, like, little behind-the-scenes pictures for all of us to guess what they are. And I think that is a genius bit of marketing. Also setting up that Subwave network as well to reach a wider network of fans. I also generally think that is genius as well, because that was a thing during his time in like 2005 until 2010. So I generally think that is all very genius what he's been doing, like marketing. And it's also getting Doctor Who fans excited, because we've been getting content all year and ever since he was announced as showrunner again. And the funny thing is, I listened to the Doctor Who concert that happened on BBC Radio 2, and I actually found something out. Russell Davies wasn't asked back by the BBC. He knew that the deal with Disney was happening, so he told them he wanted someone familiar with the show to come back, and then he happened to be the one that was asked back.
Oh.
He suggested the idea to the BBC, and the BBC obviously went along with it.
Yeah, that is really awesome. Like I think with the missing episode, like going back to that, I'm wondering if, because the toy maker is back, I wonder will they actually, because there's a few missing episodes of the toy maker, so I wonder if they'll put the toy maker episode on there as well.
There are like the only part, like we're missing the first 4 parts of the toy maker. We've got obviously part 4, which is like the last episode of that, but I would like to see the first 3 episodes of the toy maker to basically learn his history before I watch the 60th, so I get a bit more in depth about who the toy maker actually is.
Yeah, I would love for that story to be animated, or if they find the episodes, but I think that would be the next story I think they should work on, even if it's like to get out there and that. And it would be interesting as well, because I know the actor who originally played the toy maker, Michael Goff, is a brilliant actor now. So we do get a bit of a taste of that with that final episode. And
like we know that Neil Patrick Harris is going to be playing the toy maker, so there's a theory going around. I don't tend to take theories much, but it's a good one. And the theory is that the toy maker is like the Doctor, can change his body as and when. Also, I think the reason why the Doctor is regenerated into this particular thing is maybe the toy maker was behind the regeneration, and maybe he's had a bit of personal business with this particular version of the Doctor. Maybe at some point in the 10th Doctor's life he did meet him, but we just didn't see.
Yeah, an unseen adventure.
I think it's more to do with also what happened back with Hartnell. Like the toy maker wants to get revenge on the Doctor. There's also these other audio stories that involved him, or there was a missing story that it was going to happen during the 6th Doctor, where the 6th Doctor and the toy maker were going to face off, but in the end it never actually happened. So they went with the trial of the Time Lord business.
I kind of wish that had happened, because I feel like that could have been part of the trial of the Time Lord serial. Like the evidence could have been given that the toy maker was at large. I feel like you should have replaced that with Terror of the Vervoids. That story was so off kilter and very confusing. The Time Lords literally accused the Doctor of committing genocide when that was literally the only option he had.
It's a difficult one though to answer. It's just something that really needs to look into, see how they actually write it, how they put it together. It's just down to how if they did do it, it would, and then we see the final result. We could have made our own verdict and said, hey, it could have been this or it could have been that, but we'll never ever know though, really, at the end of the day. So there we go.
So with the trailer that we got, like on the 23rd of September.
Oh yeah.
2 months. I just realized it was 2 months before the actual anniversary. Dang.
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Yeah.
The anniversary is the 23rd of November.
Yeah.
That was clever. That was clever.
It was. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I think they did that absolutely right. Again, going back to the brilliant marketeer business. So yeah. Sorry, Mason, you were saying about the trailer?
So with the trailer, it was on the 23rd of September, which was, like you're saying, very good marketing. Did we like the trailer? Did we have any favourite bits?
Can I just say, Peter, you go first.
No, so I don't.
Okay. I loved the trailer. I definitely enjoyed the flashback moments in the trailer from the 2004 special. I feel like that was just like an ultimate kind of thing. It kind of gives you, it gives new fans a little bit of history into Donna. I think when new fans discover this era, it will give fans a bit of in-depth into who Donna is, because the Doctor is literally sat in the trailer explaining it to that unit woman about Donna and what happened to her. So I feel like that is also quite good, because the Doctor will be telling the story of Donna Noble from his side of things, and I think that is really clever.
That is clever. Also, before I let you speak, Peter, I was going to say this about what Phoebe was saying about the flashback. Did anyone notice when they were doing the flashback? Actually, one of the scenes, David Tennant as a 10th Doctor just standing there in the TARDIS, was a scene from The Waters of Mars.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it was nothing to do with Donna, was it?
No, he was on his
No,
own.
but however, it gave a bit of in-depth into it because the Autism Mars incident is when the Doctor goes a little bit crazy. So I'm actually really glad they included that into the trailer. It just went to go show how much the Doctor's actions affected him.
Yeah, I agree.
It's my cat meows, by the way. I can't really do anything about that.
That's all right.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So Peter, what did you think about it?
Oh, that was really, really good. Like,
Do you have any favourite parts?
it's like a movie trailer.
Yeah. Very
All the action scenes that we got.
Yeah. It is.
And of course, there's another return of Unit, and of course Kate Stewart as well.
You can't beat Kate Stewart.
No, I think they're doing like they did with the original one. That with like the bigger day, he saw various versions of the Doctor.
Yeah.
So they're keeping it in the. I think they're keeping in the tradition with that, but with Kate.
Yeah, definitely, Peter.
And she's going to be like the. I think her character will be the first character to meet two different versions of David Tennant's Doctor.
Yeah, she never actually meant the 10th Doctor. She met the 11th and 12th Doctors and 13th, but she never met David Tennant's Doctor.
Oh, right. Oh.
Not entirely. In a way, with the Day of the Doctor, I'm not sure that if they may not have spoke, but they were. I think they were just there.
Yeah, like John Hurt's War Doctor.
Yeah, may not have had a proper conversation.
Wait, yes, she did meet the 10th Doctor in the 50th anniversary specials, but only very briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting because, of course, Kate Stewart has only just seen the 13th Doctor, so that's going to be very quick for her to see the next one, the 14th one.
Yeah. Of course, the ending of the trailer, Shooty Gatwa.
Yeah, emerges. I really liked that. I think the Toymaker has stopped the Doctor regenerating into the next incarnation because he's got personal business with this particular face.
Yeah.
And I feel like Scooty Gutwa's incarnation can't get through until the Doctor has dealt, till this version of the Doctor has dealt with the Toymaker, and then something happens to him during regeneration or something. I don't know what's gonna harm the Doctor so much that he's gonna have to regenerate. But whatever it is, I am very much looking forward to it, and I'm not looking on these fan theory sites because I want to be surprised.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I don't think that the Edge will be involved, like the Guardians of the Edge, like from the Power of the Doctor.
No, I don't think the Edge is going to be involved in this particular story. I mean, I deleted Twitter for several reasons because people kept putting behind the scenes stuff on there, and also the Elon Musk stuff, which I'm not going to get into. But I deleted it because people kept putting spoilers up there, and like, I don't particularly want to be spoiled. When the 60th comes out, I want to watch it first episode to last, and I want to enjoy it, and I want to be surprised.
Definitely, because on the Doctor Who page, what they do, and every time a Doctor Who episode is on it, they do a commentary. So they'll talk about everything that's going on in the episode. So it's a wise choice.
That'll be interesting. I've got a theory sort of thing about. I feel once David's Doctor, because at the very end of time, he didn't want to go because he was actually scared about regenerating. And I have a theory of when it comes to this time, that he feels like I'm ready to let go of everything. That's when he'll probably regenerate, and that actually ends his sort of story. And then you have Shooty Gatwa going, can someone tell me what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Speaking
of regeneration, going back to David Tennant's first Doctor Who era, the first time that particular Doctor regenerated from Eccleston to him, he said new teeth. That's weird. I really liked that in Power of the Doctor when he goes, I know these teeth, and then he goes, what, and what? But then mirroring probably, I reckon, you know how the 10th Doctor says in the End of Time Part 2, I don't want to go. I feel like if that Doctor says I'm ready to go, it's going to break my heart, because those words made me tear up the very first time I watched End of Time Part 2.
Yeah.
I get that feeling. Yes, I do know where you're coming from.
Yeah, because when I saw it, that is actually the only Doctor that's made me cry. I've never cried. I'm not a crying person, and I've never cried over any of the other Doctors, even though they are sad as well. But it just hits you different because everyone else accepts it, really. You know, like really, and then the 10th Doctor never did. So I was very sad.
What actually helped with that regeneration was that particular music that they used on there called Veil of the Decam, which was done.
It was very. I get what you mean. It was a very kind of chorally type music, and it sent the 10th Doctor off in such a way that was so meaningful that you could virtually tear up to. And I think that was amazing the way they did it. It also, like, speaking of which, as we're coming back to the Russell Davies era, he's actually brought back all of his old team again. He's brought back Murray Gold for the music side of things. So how do we all feel about that?
Ooh, that's a really good question. For me, I wouldn't have minded someone new, but I think for this 60th anniversary, I don't mind Murray Gold being part of it. And then eventually, in the long run, I wouldn't mind if Russell tries something a little bit different on the table. But Murray is a trusted guard, and you need someone who's trusted to help out with the anniversary specials, in my view, because if you get someone who's completely new and untested, people are going to have some mixture of opinions about it. And even if the guy or the person, I should say person, because it could be a woman, it could be whatever gender or sexuality, they'd have to live up to a certain thing to do it for the 60th. But if they did it for a normal episode, it would be like, okay, it's easy to test out the waters. But with the 60th, it's a really, really big deal for a lot of fans out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Murray Gold's music again.
It's gonna be great to hear Murray Gold, you know. But the thing is, I think it would, like that. I would like, after a little while, I wouldn't want Murray Gold to stay as long as he did in the last run. He stayed from, I think, the beginning of series 1 in the revival to the end of Peter Capaldi. So I wouldn't want him to do that again. I'd want fresh, you know, have someone new.
I get what you mean, but I feel like with the 60th, it's up that Murray Gold is the master of the music, so I feel like it's ideal to have him back. But can I just point out, I wasn't really a massive fan of the whole Sagan Akinola thing in Jodie Whittaker's era. That was a bit messy and a little bit mixed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think there were some episodes it works, the music, especially, I can't remember the name of the episode in series 11. And I think the music in that was pretty good in series 11. But other than that, it's a bit of a mixture.
I mean, it worked with Spyfall's. It worked with Spyfall Part 1 and 2 because that was like all very kind of like very James Bond-like, and I feel like the music for that would have had to be something very creative, like what Sagan did. But I'm not particularly happy that a lot of his music didn't really fit with the theme of the episode. Take Orphanage 55, for example. That was meant to be a relatively scary episode, but the music didn't represent. Also, not trying to criticize Chibnall here. I never would. I think he's a really good writer if he works with other showrunners. But personally, by himself, when he tried to write Orphan 55, I get where he was coming from, but the episode was really messy. The actors weren't there. Yaz, Ryan, and Graham weren't getting a lot to do. The Doctor was always being in charge. It was a bit like, what's Ryan's important in this? What's Yaz gonna do? What's Graham gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
It was an episode where all the companions did was take orders from the Doctor and absolutely do nothing of their own.
And don't get me started with that ending. While I agree with the message, all I can say here is one of the most forced things I've ever seen. Now, if they added something new to it, sorry to turn it into a bit of a ranty thing, but for me, that ending, while I approve of the message, the way it was done, oh.
It was basically, all it was just a bit messy. All four of them standing around the Doctor whilst she went on about global warming, that people can wreck planets or save them. I get the message. I get the whole global warming message behind it. I just didn't appreciate the ending. They said surprise ending, and I was expecting something more than just a global warming speech from the Doctor.
Oh, you should have seen the YouTube video. And before they removed the dislikes, the amount of dislikes on that ending, because they actually uploaded the ending to YouTube. And my God, people really went on that quite hard. But yeah, enough of the ranty stuff. Shall we move on?
With like the music, because like with autism and that, we all love music and the soundtracks of Doctor Who, and I feel like it's nothing against the former person Sagan, but the only problem was, like Phoebe was saying, is that some music was just not fitting. And what we normally like and what we're glad to have back now is the themes of characters, which we didn't really have except from the 13th Doctor.
No.
So the companions didn't have one.
Yeah.
I liked some of my favourite themes definitely come from the Murray Gold era, because he definitely captured their personalities. Like the Rose theme was upbeat because of the way she was. You know, it was upbeat. She worked in a shop. And Martha's theme was Coralie because she was intelligent and smart and worked well with the Doctor, and that played every other episode, you know, when there were scenes with just her in them. I think that was really good. Donna's theme was comical because her character was kind of very comedy and funny, and Amy's theme was Coralie because she was the girl who waited. So I feel like what Marigold did is basically match the theme to the companion's personality, which I really liked.
Yeah,
Definitely. For me, bringing in classic Doctor, for me, the composer from the classic, I mean, I don't know if people know about this guy. His name was Dudley Simpson. He worked from from the late 1960s all the way up until the early 1980s, and he was a great guy that was able to do great atmospheric music to the show.
Yeah.
And always recommended by Barry Letzo during the John Pertwee era and the Tom Baker years, and that was always a guy that was really, really good in that.
Going on from your point about the classic era music, there was one thing that composer did really well. He did a lot of the Fifth Doctor music. He did that really well. I mean, it was the first time we'd ever had things like companion themes back then in like the Peter Davison era, because Adric, Nyssa and Tegan, they all had their own themes. Like in Logopolis, you hear Tegan's theme for the very first time, and I really enjoyed it. And then again, you've got like stuff in Time Flight and like the Five Doctors. All the companions that Peter Davison had, they all had their own themes. Even Turlough did, and I think that's what made Peter Davison's era so well known, is because the companions for the very first time got their own themes, and it wasn't just the Doctor.
I've not heard Tegan's theme or Turlough's or Adric's. I think I've heard Nyssa's, but not the others.
Yeah, a lot of their themes sound very similar, but you can detect there is a difference in the music if you listen very carefully, like I did at the concert.
Okay, I'll have to look on YouTube some point of their themes.
Speaking of theme, what did everyone think of the new Doctor Who theme?
Oh, absolutely love it. I mean, we haven't seen the 15th Doctor in action yet, but we can just tell by his particular theme, he's gonna be a good incarnation.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have a lot of action as well.
Yeah,
because it sounded very actiony at the concert, didn't it?
I'm just hoping that Shooty's Doctor actually has a dance sequence, because he feels like he could be quite a good dancer.
That's for definite. Going on to talking about music, I know we've talked about the 15th Doctor theme, but what do we all think about the actual new Doctor Who theme shown for like the opening credits that they will have? What do we all think of that? Because I think it's really amazing.
That is really amazing.
Yeah.
So there's a mixture of like 10 and 11s.
Yes, even though I only started watching Doctor Who back in 2019, I felt like I was traveling back in time with that Doctor Who theme because it's so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that, definitely.
It is good. The only thing I'd say about it is that I think the theme that we hear, like we've heard, will not be the final, I guess, addition to it. They'll make it a little bit different, like maybe like, because normally when we hear the theme, we don't actually know what instrument is playing. So
No.
so we can hear the instruments when we're hearing it when we heard it at the concert. So I think they'll make it a little bit different. So it's maybe not as stringy at parts.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I've heard songs over the years, like if I say like an artist would release I'm going back in the day when it comes to music, they would release a version that would be for as a single where they would remove certain instruments, and then when they do the album version, they would put in certain different instruments to off guard a little bit. So yeah, I could sort of see where you're coming from though, Mason. So
yeah. Before we talk about another subject, because I know we're going to cover them most, how important do you think music is to Doctor Who? And I don't just mean like the soundtracks they have out on Apple Music and like the ones you can get, like, you know, the discs and stuff. I mean, how important is it to the show and to the action scenes that we get in the show?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think it depends on how the episode actually is or the story is in general. If it's something that invites a lot of music, then that's pretty important. But other than that, I would say for me, in the order of the importance, I would say music is probably, if it was out of 6 different elements, I'd say it would be right in the middle to me. I would say story and characters at the top, and then the music would be more in the middle. But that's just my opinion anyway.
Yeah, I think it would be pretty dull without the music in Doctor Who. And
yeah,
I mean, imagine having a theme. Imagine not having a theme tune, because sometimes most shows don't even have a minute-long theme tune. Like normally they just do a couple 10 seconds or 20 seconds, but ours is pretty long. And yeah, I think without like we've seen in the last few seasons, like how much different. Without the music makes you watch it more. I think you get that song in your head, and you think of yourself running down that corridor and doing that.
I agree with you, Mason. I feel like music is definitely important to Doctor Who, not just for the action scenes, but for like the kind of the companion and Doctor moments, if you like, sort of when the Doctor is talking to a companion, like you might have like a sort of chorally music playing for different things. I definitely think music to Doctor Who is important, because take Smith and Jones, for example, there's that scene of the slab chasing the Doctor and Martha, and you've got some really kind of high sort of scary music playing, and I feel like without that scene wouldn't project the scariness that it was meant to give.
Yeah,
definitely. Like imagine you remember the scene in the bells of St. John where the Doctor is going up the Shard. Imagine what they could have done this, but imagine if the theme tune of the Shard wasn't played and we just heard the Doctor go up with his motorbike.
That would have made the scene less scary, I think.
Yeah.
I actually liked the scene when he actually went up the shards.
Yeah, I like that scene
very much. That was funny.
Yeah,
because it wasn't actually the Doctor. He'd used one of the he hacked into one of those spoon heads.
Yeah.
But that was the twist that I liked, because at first you generally thought it was the Doctor, but then it's revealed that it isn't the Doctor. It's just he's hacked into one of the spoon heads and he's being in 2 places at once. So he can still be at the cafe, but he can also be at the Shard and deal with the situation at the same time, which I think is quite clever.
Yeah.
Moving on from the music, so we know Doctor Who has become what it is today thanks to someone creating the idea and deciding they wanted to make a show called Doctor Who. I still think that is really important. But let's go back to the classic side of things. So we know that someone came up with the idea a long time ago, but do you think without the Unearthly Child, Doctor Who wouldn't have become what it is today without that episode?
That's an interesting question. I think for me, it was probably more the Dalek I mean, Unearthly Child to me, it's just that first episode, and then you can forget about the rest of that story, and then go straight into the Dalek story. I think it's just the Daleks that actually helped the Doctor to become what it is, because you need a more enemy as well. You can have like historical and educational stuff, which from watching some of the Hartnell stuff, I was okay with. But you need a mortal enemy. You need so many different types of enemies as well to keep it going, even if the idea feels a bit rehashed. So for me, Unearthly Child, yeah, just go for the first episode, then that 7-part Dalek story, and then off you wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I definitely think the Unearthly Child was important to Doctor Who, because that was at the very first moment you get introduced. You get introduced to Susan, to Barbara, to Ian, and I just think it is a very important moment in Doctor Who. Going into the, still kind of carrying on really to the classic era with a really another interesting question. So we know Doctor Who has gone on for 60 years, and it is the longest it's the longest sci-fi show ever. No other show has been able to carry on this year. What part of Doctor Who, excluding the Unearthly Child, because we've already covered that, what part of Doctor Who do you think it made it successful? Was it the regenerations? Was it the constant changing of actors and just going, or just generally changing the TARDIS console room round?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question.
Ooh.
I think for me, it's kind of like the regeneration kind of helped, but they never called it a regeneration back then. They were deal with a situation because Hartnell was getting worse and worse in real life with his condition.
Yeah.
And, you know, back in the 60s and 70s, I think they were a bit more professional in trying to cover up certain things. Otherwise, yeah, they were probably worried about the backlash. So I think at the time, I think it was Innes Lloyd, who was the producer at that time, said, you know what, it's time though to, you know, move Hartnell on. And that's when we got Troughton, who is my favorite Doctor, by the way. And I would defend Troughton to the very end. But yeah, I think it's the idea of the regeneration. But it was actually in Planet of Spiders where the regeneration came up, because it was Barry Letts who said in an interview, it was all about Hinduism or Buddhism, I think it was, because it's all about regeneration and new seeking of life. It came from Buddhism, the term regeneration. So in a way, yeah, religion has actually come into a sci-fi show, and religion and sci-fi never mesh too well too much unless you get an ideology in there. So it's interesting. So I think it's the regeneration kind of helped.
But regeneration wasn't created until Hartnell's health had started going downhill.
Yeah. But the term never existed until Kant was here. So that's how come, you know, after that, we would always go back in history and say, oh, it's a regeneration.
I think the very first time the word regeneration ever came up in Doctor Who was with the Time Lords, when the second Doctor regenerated, because I think that was the very first time that the word regeneration was mentioned. And obviously it was that forced regeneration stuff they made him do. So, you know, that was the very first time regeneration was ever mentioned. Also, the War Games was the very first time that we were introduced to the Time Lords. So, going on to the next question, the Time Lords were important in the classic years of Doctor Who, but the modern era, they no longer existed. But do you think every time we saw the Doctor return to Gallifrey, do you think it was interesting seeing the Doctor's home planet?
That's a good one. I mean, if you're a new viewer and you're watching it for the very first time, even if it's like New Who, I would say yes, because you're wondering what is it like and that. With me, because I've seen so many different Gallifrey stories in the past through VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, online. Well, I won't say what online sites they are because it could get me into trouble or something like that. I think it loses the appeal a little bit. But as long as the writing's good in there, then yeah, I think it is interesting though to explore Gallifrey.
Yeah.
And they did that in Hellbent with the new series, which
They also did that in the Deadly Assassin when the Doctor was recalled to Gallifrey as well.
yes,
That
yeah.
was an interesting story. Saw
Yeah.
more of the Citadel, saw kind of more of the where the Doctor used to live, basically.
Yeah, the Matrix story, as they say, that introduced the Matrix films or something like that. Well, that's another theory, though. Really,
do we think it's annoying though? Like they kill, they destroy it, and then they return it. Do we think
yeah, that is definitely really annoying because I know Stephen Moffat brought the Time Lords back for a reason, so that the Doctor wouldn't be the last of their kind anymore, and that the Doctor could return home as and when the Doctor wished to. But I think what was important about the classic years is that the Doctor kind of defied every single law that the Time Lords are against and started interfering and saving the universe. But the Time Lords eventually, when they realised that the Time War was happening, eventually they started relaxing some of these rules. But how important do you think the laws to Gallifrey actually were?
for me, not that important. But that's just my own personal take on it.
Yeah, I think it might be the same reason.
I think for me, the Doctor disobeyed their laws for a reason, because he knew the universe was in a bad way anyway, so he was trying to save it. So the Time Lords had no right to tell the Doctor what he couldn't and could not do. I mean, my character that I created, the Doctor's daughter, when she becomes Lady President later on, she starts to begin to relax some of the Gallifreyan rules, like punishments and whatnot, because she doesn't think it's right to exile Time Lords to the outside of Gallifrey.
Yeah, the Doctor did not like the control of his own people.
No, that was so. We see obviously the Doctor's relationship with the Time Lords is definitely not a good relationship in a lot of the classic eras, and every time he returns back to Gallifrey, whether it's of his own accord or whether he is recalled by force, it's not very good, is it? The relationship between him and the Time Lords has never been the greatest. But I think what kind of makes the relationship between the Doctor and the Time Lords really difficult is when he's in his 5th incarnation and him and Tegan and Turlough go to Frontiers. They don't mean to land there, then they're not meant to, but the TARDIS is drawn down by a meteor storm. Do you think the Time Lords ever found out about that little trick of his?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think they did. No, I don't think they did. No.
Because I know he went to Frontiers, but that was by mistake. He never meant to land there. The TARDIS just got pulled by the tractators. That's why.
Yeah.
But going into the modern era, when obviously the Doctor is the last of his kind and Gallifrey is destroyed, I know the Doctor committed genocide, but that was the only way to stop the Daleks at the time. Do you think after all those years, like, the Doctor kind of may have regretted what he did?
There could be some regret in there.
Yeah.
I reckon there could be some regret into that. Because I think if the Doctor didn't have any regret about it, then I think it sends out kind of like the wrong thing in general to people about is the Doctor a hero or something. Yes, the Daleks need to be stopped because they are the number one mortal enemy, but it's the method that you actually try and stop them. Is it the right method to deal with them? It's, again, another complex subject matter.
Yes,
that's me.
So in the 50th, I don't think he wanted to do it, but he had no choice. Because if
you look at it, if he hadn't, the Daleks would have basically not stopped until they'd destroyed Gallifrey anyway, and they would have seeped into the universe. I mean, my character that I created, which I probably mentioned to you guys in the group chat anyway, was there with the Doctor when he did it, so she can feel his regret.
Definitely. Do we think with the new series with Ncuti, do we think? Well, are we looking forward to like having like Christmas episodes again?
Yes.
Oh God, yes, because I obviously, as you guys know, I only became a Doctor Who fan in 2019, so only I knew the New Year's Day specials that aired. But I will solely be grateful to be one of those fans now that sit down with my family on Christmas Day and be like, shh, Doctor Who is on now, let's be quiet and watch it together. I feel like I get to enjoy that joy that people from 2005 to 2018 got to enjoy, the whole sit down watch Doctor Who on Christmas Day, because I actually get to tell my aunt and uncle and cousin to all be quiet after Christmas dinner, be like, shh, Doctor Who's on now, can we just be quiet now and watch an hour of Doctor Who together?
Yeah.
Bit similar.
Yeah. I think it was nice though at the time for it to be a bit different, because I had watched all the Christmas specials, but at the same time I was like, you know what, they need to come back to doing Christmas specials again.
Didn't have the same feeling.
They are going to come back, so
because a lot of those Christmas specials is like the Doctor's first outing after regenerating, so as such, you know, like the Christmas special will introduce the 15th Doctor, and it'll be his first outing as the new incarnation, so I think the Christmas special will be really important.
Yeah. It was like when David Tennant first entered, his first episode was the Christmas special.
Yes. Yeah, it was the
Christmas special. But personally, going on from your point about them, he spent most of that time in bed, so I feel like New Earth was definitely a better introduction for the 10th Doctor.
Oh yeah.
You got to think about as well, with the Doctor regenerating all the time, there is going to be some little things like some of the regenerations with the Doctor has been like, oh, he's falling a bit ill, he's trying to get used to the new body. So to me at the time it made sense for the bed thing, because I've seen it in the past with let me think, it was like
John Pertwee.
Yeah, John Pertwee. Yeah, John Pertwee's Doctor in Spearhead from Space.
Oh yes, in the hospital.
He spends at least 2 parts of that particular story just lying in a hospital bed the entire time. Also, what confused me about the episode, about that particular story, is that the Doctor who was attending to him, do you reckon he would have had to sign a unit form about the Doctor's actual identity, him being an alien, so that he didn't reveal it to the public?
That could have been a possibility, but yeah, they could have done that. But I think they were trying to think of what could be the best story and how to get John Pertwee's Doctor up and running. But yeah, I think that's an interesting theory to look at.
Yeah,
I never really
because he was an alien, so I feel like he would have had to sign a unit form just to keep quiet about revealing the Doctor's alien status.
Yeah.
And also remember, with that story, the Brigadier had only met Troughton's Doctor in some certain stories. So when he saw Pertwee's Doctor, he was like, yeah, I don't recognize him. So
yeah, but
those skeptics.
I distinctly remember when like Troughton first met the Brigadier, that he did explain to the Brigadier that he changes faces. Like maybe the Brigadier, because when eventually he realizes that it is the same man, he goes, what an extraordinary business, as in he knows the Doctor has regenerated because the Doctor did mention it at one of the meetings that they had.
And eventually Brigadier did witness him regenerating.
Yes, he did witness him regenerating in the robot. He actually got to say, I actually saw it happen this time.
Yeah, so when he saw Peter Davison, he knew that was him.
Not straight away, until the Doctor had mentioned Joe Grant, the Yeti, and Liz Shaw. Basically, he went through a list of things that they'd encountered together at a unit. And eventually then you get those flashback scenes in Mordrin Undead, which I think is really clever.
Oh, yeah.
Also, can we talk about the whole unit controversy for a second in the Mordrin Undead? That was really confusing.
Oh, God, yeah.
So you know how it's 1982 in that episode, in that particular story on Earth? So the Brigadier said he left unit 7 years ago, 1977, right? That would be during the that would be during Tom Baker's era about then. But according to classic Doctor Who, the unit was formed in 1967. So how can the Brigadier leave unit 7 years before unit opened?
Oh yeah, I need to watch that. I need to watch that story again.
Yeah, I know they did a DVD feature on that at one time where they tried to explain it, but it was such a long time ago since I last watched.
Yeah, but according to the Brigadier, he left unit in 1967, but that was the year that unit was formed. So how could the Brigadier leave 7 years before unit was formed?
Well, let's just say, yeah, it's just writers just, messing up on that timeline and going like,
actually, I think I may know what's happened there. So, that story wasn't originally going to have Nicholas Courtney in it. So they only had to get him because Ian Chesterton originally was going to be in that story. But due to filming issues, they couldn't have Ian Chesterton. So they had to change it to Nicholas Courtney.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many episodes that we could talk about.
But going on to the whole 7th Doctor era, so obviously we have
my first era of Doctor Who. Sorry, I had to say that.
Yeah, so we know about the battlefield thing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny how the Brigadier kind of walks up and smashes that thing, that whole thing, operating that button thing, and he goes, "I can't let you out of my sight for a minute, Doctor." And then the Doctor goes, "Oh, so Brigadier, you recognise me then?"
Yeah, I love that. And I'll be honest here, I think that's my favourite story with the Brigadier in it, Battlefield, because he actually goes really all out in that story without question. Like even when he deals with that demon at the very end and how he actually defeats him with the bullets, I thought that was really, really cool. And that was probably my favourite version of the Brigadier in that one was in the Battlefield story.
Yeah, mine too. Definitely one of my favourites because the Brigadier knocks him out so he can take on the Beast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I just couldn't remember the name, but yeah, he was this beast, this dark overlord thing, and defeats him with ease. So cool.
He was like to the Doctor, "I've had my time."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because his character just retired, didn't he? But he came back, didn't he?
He's
he did one more outing in the Sarah Jane Adventures, and then after that was it. He wasn't in it anymore. So
yeah, but it would have been nice to see the 10th Doctor at least meet the Brigadier, I think.
Well, actually, though, the thing is,
they were meant to.
They were meant to have Nicholas Courtney in the Sontaran Stratagem and Poison Sky.
Yeah. But they did.
Wasn't he filming?
No,
was he doing something else, or was he not well?
No, he was ill.
He was ill.
Why they couldn't film with him?
Yeah.
So no, he was going to be in the he was going to be in the Sarah Jane episode where Sarah was. He was
in the Sarah Jane Adventures because they originally in that particular episode they tried to get Freema Agyeman, but she couldn't do it because she was filming Law and Order at the time. So they had to get Nicholas Courtney in instead.
There was, I think in 2020, it might have been 2020, when there was an online meeting with Matt Smith, Jodie Whittaker, and David Tennant, and they were all asked whether like a companion or someone that would love to be their companion in Doctor Who. And Matt Smith, as the 11th Doctor, says he would love Rose Tyler. Jodie Whittaker would love Rory and to be with the 13th Doctor, and David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, he said he would like to have worked with the Brigadier. So
yeah, I saw that.
That was interesting.
I saw that too. Speaking of the whole classic Doctor Who, modern Doctor Who being on iPlayer, how do you also feel about the whole kind of Confidential, Torchwood, and Sarah Jane all being finally under one roof?
I love that.
That was really good.
they are like kind of like spin-off, whether it's like an official show or the one roof.
Yeah, because I don't know if classic Doctor Who is going to be actually added to like the modern side of things. Like we'll have series 1 to 28, then we'll have the modern, or whether classic Doctor Who will be given its own archive on iPlayer next to the modern series. I don't know whether they're just going to put it all in the same area, but I do like the idea that Confidential will be on there as well for people who want to watch the behind the scenes stuff, because there's a new behind the scenes now. I like the idea of Torchwood and Sarah Jane being Adventures and Class all being together under one roof, because we know that classic Doctor Who's been on BritBox and ITVX. Confidential wasn't on there, so you can only watch them if you had the DVD copies.
Yeah, there's a thing that we're getting called Doctor Who Unleashed. So after every Doctor Who episode now, we can go to BBC iPlayer, similar to Confidential.
Yeah.
And we can go over there. And I think it's every episode of the 60th and the new series. So
because you couldn't watch Confidential unless, of course, you had the DVD versions of the series of Doctor Who, which would have the behind the scenes exclusives with them. So I think it all being under one roof will be so much more accessible for everyone as well, because it'll be a whole kind of we'll have Doctor Who, classic Doctor Who, Sarah Jane, Torchwood, and then obviously we'll have Class, which only ever lasted one season.
Yeah,
that didn't really launch very well or come off very good. But I think I like the idea of Confidential being on there as well.
It's interesting if they're all going to be on one kind of platform, if they're just going to have Doctor Who like Confidential there, but they already have Sarah Jane Adventures on there anyway, I think. So
yeah,
but you know how iPlayer does that thing where you click on something and it says available for over the year. This time it won't say that on there, because they won't have to keep renewing it every time. If everything's all under one roof, it'll just be all together, and it's kind of a permanent thing.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Because these Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials are not a particular season, so do you think they will be added to the 14th, like series 14, along with the new season next year and the Christmas special?
I think they might be separate, because the 60th special obviously with David Tennant, and the Christmas special is obviously going to be a separate special.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be separate.
So I've been thinking about this. You know how on iPlayer, when you click the Doctor Who thing and you get all like the episodes, I feel like their specials are going to be they're going to be next to series 13, but there's going to be a section that goes 60th specials. So you click on it.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Like you have that whole kind of thing on iPlayer where they show all the kind of the watch now things, and you can and you've got like the pink line that says watch, and then you have all the series. I feel like if they're going to put the specials anywhere, it'll be in a special section called specials.
Yeah,
because that's how it is on Doctor Who TV. They haven't given it a series name. If you look on the website, you go into specials and it just says specials.
Yeah, they are special. Yeah.
But going on to your point about the 60th, do we think that the 60th is going to celebrate all of Doctor Who and not just the current era? Like, do you reckon at some point in one of the specials we're going to get a flashback to all previous Doctors?
I hope so.
Well, yeah, I agree.
As we know, the most secret one is the second one, so there might be something in that one. They're keeping that well secret. Like, they're not giving away much from the second special.
No, but it would be so disappointing if they didn't include stuff from the classic era in it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I know the Toymaker is coming back. I know that's one era of Doctor Who kind of sorted and solved. But I feel like it would be solely disappointing if they didn't at some point do a flashback to the classic eras to see all the Doctors.
Yeah.
Maybe they would do maybe we'll be in luck, and maybe they'll do a flashback to the Doctor first meeting the Toymaker.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
We know there's 3 important dates. So the first, obviously, is the the BBC iPlayer with Doctor Who, and then they've got, I think, the 17th, which is Children in Need, and then the 23rd, and all those dates Doctor Who's not going to be on. So
Yeah,
I wonder if Children in Need will maybe possibly be a kind of sketch, and maybe what the 40th Doctor's happened after the regeneration, kind of what they've done with the 9th Doctor.
Because we know that Doctor Who do Children in Need pretty much every year. They always put out some sort of skit. So my reckoning is they'll probably do some sort of skit with the 14th Doctor, I would have thought.
Yeah, like they did with Comic Relief this year.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, when Lenny Henry regenerated into David Tennant.
Oh, speaking of that whole, we know about that Timeless Child storyline. How do we all feel about it being retconned?
I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't mind, but I know it's going to upset certain fan bases and that, but I think I'm okay whatever way they go with it.
But Russell T Davies himself has retconned the Timeless Child stuff. He actually retconned it himself.
Yeah, I'd say I feel no different to it. So if he wants to do that, that's down to him at the end of the day.
Because I think he didn't like originally what Chibnall did, so he's kind of gone back and pretended that never happened, which makes me and probably a bunch of other Doctor Who fans very happy about Russell Davies retconning that.
Yeah.
Because talking about the Timeless Child, when I first watched series 12, I wasn't particularly happy about the final. I wasn't particularly happy about the Doctor being the one that made the Time Lords. And for all we know at the time, that came out of the Master's mouth. So all for we know, he could be the Timeless Child.
Well, yeah, I think other people still believe that it's the Master,
because it all came out of his mouth.
Yeah, if the
and we know the Master cannot be trusted. So do we all think, or are we all on the same page that we believe that the Master is the Timeless Child and it's not the Doctor? It's the other way around.
Yeah, I think it might be the Master. Yeah,
that's most likely to me as well. And it was, it's something I don't like talking about, the Timeless Child business. So yeah,
but I thought as we're all talking about Doctor Who, I thought it'd be brief mentioning how Chibnall almost ruined Doctor Who.
Yeah, the number of websites I read, after that episode aired, my God, I think most people would be more the Timeless Child. No.
Yeah, speaking about how Chibnall ruined things, how do we feel about him ruining the Weeping Angels by actually using that fan theory that Weeping Angels are fallen Time Lords in the Village of the Angels in Doctor Who Flux?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
No, me neither, actually. That's the first time I've heard of it.
Yeah.
At the end of the Village of the Angels, the Doctor turns into a Weeping Angel, and Chibnall used that fan theory.
You know what? If that was a series finale, that would have been one of the best series finales ever. But because though that particular finale was used in the middle, it kind of ruined it when it got to the next episode. To me,
but did it also ruin the Weeping Angels as well? Because it made the Weeping Angels less scary, knowing that they were fallen Time Lords, and that Chibnall took that theory and turned it into a real one.
Well, for me, I felt like the Weeping Angels started to get a little bit weak during the Matt Smith era, when the Angels had their first two-part, which I knew that Moffat would put them into a two-part because of the success of Blink. But because the crack in time overshadowed that particular thing over the Angels, it didn't make the Angels that important. So to me, I think the Angels have been weak since that two-part of Flesh and Stone.
Agreed. I feel like Flesh and Stone and that, like the Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone, are two really good, solid episodes. It's just with the whole overarching thing of the whole crack in the wall kind of made them a little bit more weaker than I would have liked.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is one of the disadvantages with having an overarching story, that if you have like a really top tier villain and they're caught in the middle of it, it could turn that top tier villain into an absolute joke.
Yeah.
I felt like it did turn the Angels into a bit of a joke on that one. So, but yeah, I still like the Angels to a point. I can understand why people love them, but for me, they're not my favorite villain. So
he also changed, like when he took over showrunner, I knew his work was going to be good. But first of all, I hated the multicolored Teletubby looking Daleks he did in Victory of Daleks.
Some people called it the Power Rangers Daleks in that one.
Yes, I'm calling them Teletubby Daleks.
I remember watching a video online where someone had actually put in the My Morphin Power Rangers theme song. All those Daleks coming out of the thing, and I thought that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I mean, it's funny when the Prime Minister got shot.
Yeah, but I just didn't like how Moffat decided to go. I know there was a reason for it because of Matt Smith and Karen Gillan's height. They had to change the height of the Daleks just a tad, but I am not happy about the way they did it.
Yeah.
If they were going to do it, they could have kept the gold Daleks, just made the gold Daleks a little bit more higher. I wasn't particularly happy with how they choose to do it with the multicolored Daleks. I think that downgraded their scariness for me personally.
Yeah.
I think we could go on about that all the time. So I think we should carry on to talk about what's exciting that we're looking forward to coming up with the.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. So for me personally, for the 60th anniversary, I've only seen the trailer once, and I think once is enough because I'm a bit worried though if I watch it many more times, the buzz will be gone. But
yeah,
how they're actually going to go ahead with it and what ideas they've got coming up.
I watched the trailer twice. Once because I watched it on the TV, twice because I had to take photos for my YouTube video for the trailer breakdown and also for the trailer reaction too. So I watched it about 3 times, but the 2 times were for YouTube purposes and YouTube purposes only. But I did like the trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing the Rough Warriors, and I'm also looking forward to seeing Meet the Beak, which I think is adorable, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that's a copy of Baby Yoda, but I think it's a nice little homage as well to me as well because all shows sort of copy elements from it.
I just want a teddy of it.
Yeah, that would be a good teddy. Definitely.
Yeah. I think I know Doctor Who has done their version of Chewbacca by introducing Carvanista in Flux, which we are now all calling a Who-Bacca. They've basically copied Chewbacca out of Star Wars, but now we're also getting our own version
of Baby Yoda.
Yeah, we're getting our own version of Baby Yoda, which is Meet the Beak. So I feel like Doctor Who might be crossing over into other franchise just in a very subtle way.
Yes. There's nothing wrong with that because I think it's just paying respects to each other in a way. I think some people will take it the wrong way, but to me it's more respectful to the other shows that are out.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people are taking it the wrong way, but I agree with you, Barry, about the whole they're putting a little bit of everything into Doctor Who now. I mean, we had our own Who-Bacca, now we've got our own version of Baby Yoda, Meet the Beak. So I definitely think about crossovers, though, with Doctor Who. I know they've done it in the Sarah Jane Adventures. They never did it with Torchwood, apart from, like, bits of Torchwood in Journey's End and in Stolen Earth and Journey's End. But do you know there was once going to be a Harry Potter crossover?
No.
Well, I've heard bits about it, but I've never followed up on it. But yeah, I've heard some stuff about Harry Potter crossovers.
Let's not heard this.
I think with crossovers, I mean, it'd be best just to keep it. I think Doctor Who on its own rather than crossover.
A Harry Potter Doctor Who crossover would be awesome because the magic world is very, very similar to the Doctor Who world because of those tents the wizards had, bigger on the inside. TARDIS, bigger on the inside. You know, there are some very, very similarities in Harry Potter and Doctor Who as well. Like TARDIS and wizard tents, bigger on the inside, want Sonic's time turners traveling back in time. The TARDIS can do that.
We have seen a Doctor Who crossover with the Lego Dimensions video game, and I'll be honest with you, I really enjoyed the hell out of that.
We had one with Sherlock once.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
I've seen that on YouTube. That's
funny.
We also had one with the guy who does the science thing. Who is he? The guy that appeared in Doctor Who a couple of times with the cubes.
Oh, Professor Brian Cox.
Yes, that's the one. He also did a he commented that the TARDIS was easy to work, and then he kind of commented that the power of the black hole that the Doctor had in it would blast the TARDIS, but obviously the TARDIS can take the energy.
True.
He kept trying to deny everything.
Very true. Very true.
But I've seen that on YouTube. That was a Children in Need special with Professor Brian Cox at the time.
Yeah. I wonder what we're getting for Children in Need this year. And also on the 23rd, something's happening on the 23rd. So potentially that's where we might get a multi-Doctor kind of story if they don't have all the Doctors appearing in the specials. So
yeah, maybe
because
Russell T Davies has mentioned that the specials don't air on the 23rd, most likely the weekend. But I feel like he's gonna drop something big on the actual 60th birthday of Doctor Who.
Yeah, maybe like a mini episode or something.
That would be cool if he did.
Yeah, just like really unannounced, just drop it on the actual day.
Yeah, because I feel like the air dates, I feel like if I'm right, and I'm just going to check my calendar here, because I've got a slight suspicion, the specials are probably going to air the 10th, the 11th, 18th, and 25th of November, so over a course of 3 weeks, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, I think those could well be those dates, because there's a Dr. Donna Marathon happening on the 4th.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think there's not there's a new game show with Alan Carr. I think I heard that finishes that's on the 4th.
Yeah.
The next version of Doctor Who magazine is actually similar to the one that the Power of Doctor Who get a poster with it, and the next one you're getting a poster with it. So that would possibly be the dates. Potentially. Last few things, guys. I wanted to ask, because we know that we've got a Subwave network on Instagram, like channel, do we think the Subwave network is just for this promotion, or do we actually think the Subway network will be integrated in the 60th anniversary special?
Oh, I think that will be kind of integrated into the 60th, but also the next series too. I don't think that's just a thing for this particular promotion.
Okay.
I think it will carry beyond the 60th anniversary. So yeah, I'm with Phoebe on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree there. And the last question is, which will actually get used in a video after the 60th anniversary as well, because I'll ask you in reverse order from where you introduce yourselves. So the question is, for you first, Peter, is there something in the 60th anniversary that you want to see happen, or maybe a person that hasn't been announced to be in the 60th? What do you kind of want there?
Oh, I mean, possibly all the Doctors and companions that we've still got with us now.
Okay.
Yeah, like like Fraser Hines. I think. Who you haven't seen for a while since they left.
Some of the older ones.
I know we had Tegan and Ace. I know we've got Mel coming back next year.
Mel
would confirmed, yeah. That has been confirmed by the BBC.
Yeah. Mel would make sense to be in the 60th. It looks like she's a part of unit. But yeah, thanks, Peter. Barry, what about you?
And maybe Sergeant Benton.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him for what 40 odd years.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
When what about you, Barry?
Ooh, that's a really, really good question. For me, I'll take anything really. I'll take anything really, because I'd rather not have any expectations, because if I expect something to actually happen and it actually happens, I get a little bit let down by it. So I just want there to be just a huge surprise. I just want to be amazed. That's my view with the 60th anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay, well, for me, I don't quite know what to expect, but I would like to see Martha return, maybe like working at unit again. I know she went freelance with Mickey, but the chances of seeing Mickey are very slim these days, especially after what happened.
Yeah.
Especially what we're not going to get into that, but we all know what Clark did.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to see another companion support group, maybe with Martha this time, and at the end talking about past adventures that they did. I think maybe another companion support group towards the end.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I think that was one of the highlights of the Power of the Doctor. Seeing the old companions or old doctors, I think to me that was the highlight of that.
Yeah, but Martha wasn't there, so I feel like maybe another companion support group with Martha, and then maybe if Donna doesn't die, maybe have Donna as part of that companion support group meeting all the Doctor's past companions, because I know Rose wasn't there. She's trapped in parallel universe, but she would have been very kind of upset to know that she wasn't the only one that travelled with the Doctor. That she found that out in obviously school reunion, but I feel like she would have been even more disappointed to find out that she was just one of many other companions.
Yeah, I think the Power Doctor was more like it celebrated Classic Who a lot, I think, with all the Doctors coming back and the companions.
Definitely. I feel like if they do another companion support group, they've got to include people like Martha and Donna if she survives this time, talking about past adventures with the Doctor, kind of basically, in other words, I'm calling it the Doctor support group, about talking about kind of which incarnations of the Doctor they were traveling with and which adventures they went on.
Yeah, I would like a longer time period with them as well, like have them maybe longer, because we didn't get much with them.
I can't forget Ian's face when Yaz said woman.
Oh, yeah.
I can't forget Ian's face, so I think it would be nice to have maybe the Doctor kind of see the support group so they can see the next incarnation of the Doctor.
Definitely.
Because the Doctor doesn't get to check in with companions very much, so I think it would be nice to maybe have the Doctor share some of the experiences the Doctor was with their companions. I think it would be nice to include Nyssa, because we know from the 20th season 20 trailer that Nyssa is now back.
Yeah, it would be nice to have. It would be nice to have a kind of a reunion, kind of Journey's End vibe, Stolen Earth, where you have all those people there, but
we
more.
know from the season 20 kind of pack that Nyssa is back now, so it would be nice to have Tegan and Nyssa kind of be back together again, and maybe even, and I hope I'm not hoping too much on this, but I kind of want to see them have their own spin-off.
That'd be good.
Yeah, it could, yeah.
Just a spin-off of how they are now, living together and defending the Earth. That's all I ask for.
Yeah.
All you ask for.
Happen though, if people want to believe, that Disney will actually help out with the money side of things, and they like to do multiverses.
Yeah,
I reckon that could actually happen.
Speaking of spin-offs, I would also like Martha to get her own spin-off. Like,
yes, that'd be another good series.
Called Martha Jones, Defender of the Earth. I would like to see that. I would like to see a spin-off of Martha with River Song, maybe.
I think Martha would be keen to do that, or like Freeman would definitely be keen.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like if we're gonna get a River Song spin-off, I feel like it would work with Martha, because like she could go around visiting all the Doctor's past companions.
I don't think they've met. I don't think they've met.
No, River and Martha and River have never met, but I feel like if they did a River song spin-off, it would work having Martha in with it, sort of a Martha and River spin-off. I think that would be really cool because I think they'd make a pretty badass team.
That would be cool. So with the intros, like from when we got the names announced, we got the series 4 kind of vortex and that. Do we think when the intros come, when the specials air, do we think we get a multiple different versions of different intros from the past, or do you think we'll just see that series 4 vortex?
Oh,
Ooh.
you've put us on a really
I'd like
good.
to see multi ones, like just past ones, and then mix it in with the present. Like
Yeah,
the first one, make it a longer intro for that first one, and then once you get into series 14 and that, have its
I
own
agree.
introduction.
I agree with Barry on that subject.
Yeah.
I think didn't they say that the series 14 they're gonna have different intros like every week, like different.
I hope so. It would
That'd be
definitely
nice.
add depth to
I
the
thought
episodes.
that's what I heard because
It's just a rumor. Don't listen to rumors until the BBC have officially announced it.
Yeah, that would be different.
The first part of series 7, they changed them slightly.
Yeah. You know what I think, though, personally? I think when we get the opening titles, I hope they go back to like the John Pertwee, Tom Baker, Pete Davison, Colin Baker, and Sylvester McCoy. Not Sylvester McCoy, but kind of the eras where the faces of the Doctors were in the opening credits before you get to the story title. Please have that again.
Yes, because the last one we had was
it was Colin Baker, because Sylvester McCoy got the spinning
TARDIS
thing. He got the whole kind of yellow light and then spinning TARDIS thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and I do have a final question for you all before we end this podcast. Out of all of the intros we have all seen, we're all familiar with classic Doctor whose opening credits from classic and modern series is your favourite? Mine is Peter Davison's Starfield.
For me, because of the way of the mysterious effect of his face coming in, I thought that was really cool because it felt like you're in a science fiction or outer world experience, and also the black and white actually helped that title sequence to make it more mysterious.
Yeah, I kind of like Colin Baker's and Peter Capaldi's because there's some very similar.
Yeah. I love Peter Davison's Starfield, but I also love David Tennant's.
Yeah, I do like
opening credits too.
I like David Tennant.
It's just because they're very similar. I know obviously the face and the non-face, but Peter Davison's and David Tennant's opening sequences are very similar with the whole vortex thing.
I like the way it looks for David Tennant, like the vortex, but I do prefer the music with Matt Smith, series 5.
Yeah.
I
absolutely 100%.
And I like the piano addition to the movie, Paul McGann. So
yeah.
I like that they've included that into the new intro music.
Yeah,
I don't know
absolutely,
if you saw that.
100%. But we know that movie didn't end well.
Yeah. But no, unfortunately, because it had to all stop. But yeah, we all like all those intros. But yeah. Does anyone else want to say anything before we finish?
I was going to say, I don't know if you heard, but there's this documentary coming out on the 1st of November that David Tennant's doing.
I heard about that with David Tennant walking us through the years of classic Doctor Who. There's going to be interviews from Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Tom Baker, and then the actors who play the Doctors in the audio stories from the ones that passed away.
That's awesome. Oh yes, so there's some interviews from
yes, he's going to be
Charlton Pertwee.
He's going to be interviewing his own father-in-law.
Yeah.
Imagine George and Ten makes an appearance.
Yes, it's called Talking Doctor Who. It's on BBC 4 at 7:30 on the 1st of November.
Yes, that
Right.
was announced by the BBC officially. That will be coming out, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And I'm going to sit downstairs and I'm going to watch it, and I don't care if I have to make my whole family watch it.
Yeah. Well, you have to remind me to watch it.
I will do. I'll either message the group about it so we all remind each other, or
Right. Yeah.
I asked my mum if she wants to watch it, and she might.
I asked my uncle and aunt today if they wanted to watch it, and they were like a bit umming and ahhing about it. They're like,
Yeah.
I never ever try and force any of my family unless they say to me, "Hey, Barry, there's this show or whatever's on," and I'll be like, "Yeah, that's cool. Then we'll get down to watch it." Because I never like to force people to watch certain things because if it goes wrong,
I'm trying to get my uncle and aunt to watch it, but they keep umming and ahhing. I mean, my cousin's already like, she wants to watch it anyway because she knows how much I love Doctor Who. But my aunt and uncle are like, do we really have to? I mean, can't you just watch it on iPlayer? I'm like, do you realise there's no BBC 4 on iPlayer?
Right, I did not know that.
It's a shame, isn't it? It's a shame.
That's why I'm trying to get them to let me watch it on their TV, because there's no BBC 4 on iPlayer. It's just like, do I really have to? I can't just watch it upstairs. There's no BBC 4 on iPlayer. Please, I'm now starting to plead with them. Please. I'll even like do chores around if it helps make me watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair play.
Yeah. But yeah, let's stop it. That's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could talk for much longer. We won't know how to stop. But thank you, Peter, Barry, and Phoebe for joining Doctor Who Autism Celebrations. And thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. And Mason will make sure he links my YouTube channel in the description, so you guys can all go click over there.
I definitely will. Thanks, guys.